And this next little section is how to calculate a total amount. Okay? And we can calculate total amounts by using the following steps. So this is a question where they've not actually give us a total. They're asking us what the total is. How much money are they going to split up? Okay? How much marzipan is in that particular cake? That kind of stuff. So there are 3 steps. Step 1. Calculate the value of one part. You may be given this in the question. The second step is to then calculate the total number of parts. And the third part is to calculate the total amount by multiplying the value of one part by the total number of parts. How does that work? It all sounds a little bit complicated to me. How does it actually work? Let's put it into practice. Let's put this into practice with this next question that we've got on the screen. A basic dough is made by mixing 3 parts of Greek yogurt and 4 parts of self-raising flour. 160 grams of self-raising flour is used. So how much dough is made in total? Now what we've been working with previously is we've got a total and we've separated into a ratio. In this instance we haven't. Yes, we've got a ratio here at the top and we've got a total there, but that is only for the flour. It's not for the yogurt. Okay? It's not for the yogurt. So how do we work this out? I like to do things pictorial, especially when I'm working with ratios, because I can see things a little bit better. So, there's our dough. Okay, there's our pile of dough. And it's made by making 3 parts of yogurt, I'll call it Y, and 4 parts of self-raising flour, just call it F. Okay? Now we know that this here is 160 grams, because it tells us that in the question. 160 grams of self-raising flour is used. How much dough is made in total? So what we do now, we take this information we've got, because that 160 grams forms 4 parts of that dough. So we could split that into 4 parts. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we take the 160 and we divide it by 4. And that means that in each of these little boxes, or these parts of the dough now, is 40 grams. Okay? Does that make sense? So 40, 40, 40, 40. So we know that one part of that dough is 40 grams. Okay? We know that the yogurt is made up of 3 parts. Forty, 40, 40. Because remember, ratio is all about finding out what one part is worth, and they're not different numbers. So the yogurt is 3 parts. There's 40 in each part. 3 times 40 is 120. So in that dough mix, we used 160 grams of self-raising flour. We used 120 grams of Greek yogurt. So in total, how much dough is made in total? 280 grams. Does that make sense? Yeah, does that make sense? There it is. So, the information we knew was that 4 parts of that dough were flour, and there was 160 grams of that. Ratio is all about finding out what one part is worth. And sometimes you need to draw yourself a bit of a picture. I do this all the time in working ratios because it makes sense. And every box has got to contain the same number. You can't have 40, 40, 30, 50. It's all got to be the same number. That's why those are all 40 as well. And that's how you work them out. You can't use Adam because we didn't have a total. We're not sharing the total weight of the dough, the amount of dough we've made. We're not sharing that out. The only bit we knew was the flour. Yeah? Let's try another one. Ria works in a paint shop. She needs to make 1,500 millilitres of purple paint. She does this by mixing red paint, blue paint and white paint in the ratio of 3 to 2 to 1. How much blue paint does Ria need to make 1,500 millilitres of purple paint? Okay. If you need to, draw yourself a little picture. Okay. If you need to, draw yourself a little picture. That's what I'm going to do over here. There's my paint pot. There's going to be purple paint in that. Okay. It's kind of like what we've just done. We found a ratio, haven't we? But how much blue paint do we actually need? Got any answers? Yeah? It's worded slightly similar to the other paints because we have got a total there, 1,500, we know that that's 1,500. So what have we done? We've took the 1,500 and what have we divided it by anything? Divided by 6 because the purple paint is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've took the 1,500 and we've divided it by 6. Which gives us
2 and 250.
So each of them boxes has got 250. Or each of these parts of the paint have got 250 in. So the question says, how much blue paint does she need? 500 millilitres. Easy. Yeah, it's quite straightforward. Fairly easy to work these out. That's an exam question, by the way. Didn't realise it, but it is. What about these three? They've shared the restaurant bill in the ratio of 4 to 3 to 5. Okay, that's what I was talking about earlier on. She's paid £21. She's paid £21. Okay. What was the total bill? What was the total bill?
I don't want to try part, I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, what was the total bill? That's a tricky one to work out, isn't it? Or is it? What are we thinking? It's kind of harks back to what we was talking about a little bit earlier on. How many parts of the bill has she paid? Do we know?
3 parts.
3. Why? Because she's in the middle, 3's in the middle. Yeah? We've only got one piece of information there. And that is that she paid 21 quid, 3 parts of the bill. So what's one part of the bill?
£7.
How much?
28.
Yeah, because he's had 4 parts, 4 portions, maybe 4 courses. That's if each course is the same amount of money.
Okay.
35, yeah. So the total bill is obviously those three added together, which is 84 quid. Yeah, we've got this. Yeah, we've got this. Alright. So again, we can't use Adam because we didn't have the 84 to start with to divide between 4 to 3 to 5. We didn't have that. We only knew this bit of information here and that bit of information there. But once we knew that 3 parts of the bill were 21 quid, we could work out what one part of the bill was, which was £7. Once we know that, he has 4, he has 5, total is. Yeah. So here's George. George is a sheep farmer. His herd contains Herdwick sheep, Hebridean sheep, and Soyer sheep in the ratio of 9 to 5 to 2. George has 180 Herdwick sheep. But how many sheep does he have in total? Okay. Picture if you need to. Does that look a bit trickier? Does it? Does that make it look any easier for you? Make it look any easier for you. Does that help you? Good question.
You don't need to add them all up because the total.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so you've got
320. Do you know the very first line? I missed it. I was going to write it down, but we went too quick. I'm going to ask you to go back just so I write it down so I know how to work it out.
I think it was find the value of part 1.
Yeah, I got that one. This is the last
Find the
one.
total number of parts and then times the value by the total. I mean, that's not what I said word for word. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's quick. He'll send it to us anyway.
Yeah.
It's fun. Keep on.
So, have we got an answer? Have we got an answer? Yeah? How did we work it out? What's the answer? How did we work it out? So what is the answer?
I've got 320.
320.
Yeah.
320?
Yeah.
We'll write that down up there just to make sure that we're right. So a couple of different ways of approaching this particular question. If you set it out like that, which is what I would recommend that you do, you can see there 9 to 5 to 2, that's what it says in there. The only other bit of information we've got is the fact that he's got 180 Herdwick sheep, which is made up of 9 parts. Using my little farmer's field drawing down here, we can see that theirs is 180 sheep split into each of those 9 parts. So basically it's 180 divided by 9, which gives us
20.
So in each of these little boxes he's got 20 sheep, or in each of these areas of his field. Once we've got that, the rest of the question is relatively easy. Because he's got 5 Hebridean sheep, 5 parts of Hebridean sheep, which is, so that's 5 times 20, 100, yeah? Is this exactly what you did?
Yeah.
2 times 20 is 40, and then you add those together and you get your 320 sheep. Yeah?
Yeah.
Fairly straightforward. What I would recommend is when you set these up, write down the ingredients, if you want to call them ingredients, in this case it's the sheep. Write down the ratio directly underneath it, make sure you get them in order, and then write down the only other bit of information you know, which in this case was how many sheep you had. Once you've got that, do the division. Once you've got your answer, what one is worth, times it by those 2, and you get the final answer. If you're struggling, draw yourself a little picture. It works, whether it's a cake, a tin of paint, or whatever it is. Yeah, just draw yourself a little picture. Okay? I've not got the answer up on the screen for that, but we know the answer is 320. This is another exam style question. Now it's a non-calculator question, this one. Okay? It's a non-calculator question. Saima is making filling for a cake. She mixes jam, sugar and soft cheese in the ratio 4:1:16, and she's using 32 ounces of soft cheese. She knows that 1 ounce is equal to 28.3 grams. So how many grams of jam does Saima need? I'll give you a little tip for this one. Don't do that conversion till the very end. Okay, just use that bit of information first to find out the ounces of jam. Okay, just use that bit, just use that 2 lines first, and then do the conversion at the end. It'll be a little bit easier with the calculation. Okay, it's a non-calculator, so it's going to make you think a little bit, this. Okay, well that's how we've set it up. That's how it's set up. Similar to the sheep one. How are we doing? Are we stuck at the conversion bit at the end? Yeah? Not yet. Makes it tricky because it's a non-calculator question. first. How are we doing? Shall we go through it? Yeah. Okay, so we've set it out like this, which is how we set the sheet out. Okay. We're not going to bother with that conversion until right at the very end, because if we try to convert 32 ounces into grams, it's going to be a massive big number. Okay. So we're going to do that at the end. So we know that the 16 parts is soft cheese, and that is 32 ounces. So what do? Take the 32 ounces and divide it by 6, yeah? That's the first thing we do. Divide it by 16, sorry, which gives us 2. So 1 part is 2 ounces. Okay, 1 part is 2 ounces. The question says how many grams of jam. So we're only interested in this one. We're not interested in the sugar, we're just interested in the jam. Now we know that 1 part is 2 ounces, and the jam is 4 parts. So that's 4 times 2 ounces, which is 8 ounces of jam. Do you agree so far? We all got to that stage. Now we can do the conversion, because 28.3 times by 8 is a bit easier than 28.3 times by 32, especially without a calculator. So how are you going to do 28.3 times by 8? Okay, this is entirely up to yourself. You could use any method you fancy. You could use any method that you feel the most comfortable with. Do you know how I did this if I was doing this in my exam? I don't do multiplying. Don't do it, because I don't like it. I do this.
That probably would have been easier than what
I add it up 4 times. Decimal point 1 to carry. That's it times by 4. Double it. 2 plus 2 is 4. Decimal point. 3 plus 3 is 6. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. 226.4 grams. Yeah? That's how I do.
That was too much mathing for me.
I could see what you were trying to do. You read it. When you set off doing that, I thought you cracked it, but then you went and times it by 10. Does that make sense? 226.4.
I'm confused by it. Where did you get?
I could have just done what you. I did it by 2 so I could times it by 10.
And
And take the 2 off the
yeah, I
times
could
to
see
give
what
you
you were
8.
doing.
Sorry, where did you get that 8 out? So 4 times 2. I'm super confused by that.
So 4 times 2 ounces is 8 ounces. Remember, 1 part is 2 ounces.
Right.
And she needs 4 parts of jam. So 4 times 2
Okay.
is 8 ounces of jam. Yeah? If you were to draw the cake, or the filling for the cake, yeah, you've got 16 parts of it down here, a soft cheese, and it's made up of 16 parts. 1 part of it is sugar, that's that bit in the middle. But 4 parts of it are jam. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you take this 32 ounces down here, so this bit here weighs 32 ounces. And it's made up of 16 parts. So that means that 1 part of that is 2 ounces. So sugar would be 2 ounces. It's not interested in sugar. But each of these is 2 ounces. Because remember, ratio is all about what 1 part is worth, and 1 part's exactly the same throughout the sum. 2 ounces, 2, 4, 6, 8. That's where that 8 comes from.
Okay.
Yeah? That's where the 8 comes from. Because there's 4 parts of jam. Yeah, there's 4 parts of jam. Does it make sense, that?
Yeah.
Yeah? So the answer is 226.4 grams. So, it's not often you get to have to do a conversion. That's an old, fairly old exam question. It's a Pearson exam question. But yeah, if you get to do a multiplication, sometimes the easiest way of doing it is just add it up. Just add it up. makes it a bit easier than multiplying. Makes it a little bit easier than multiplying. So there's the answer to that. 226.4 grams. Okay. This next question is in your workbook, and it is. Can you bear with me a second? It's a tricky one, but I want us to have a go at it. It's that one, okay? It's that one. Now, what I've actually done for you is, well, it's not on the back of this page, yes. I've put it down on this, what's called scaffolding paper, and basically, it's allowing you to talk through what it needs to be done to solve that particular question. So there's a couple of pages on, I think. There it is. So it's kind of going to help you to talk through, yeah, that particular question. So have a look at that question. I'll put the big version on the screen here. Give you 5 or 10, 6 minutes to work it out.